Hello and welcome to my Christmas baking session. Hello home bakers, I'm Dr. Mommy Cakes and today I'm going to be decorating Christmas cake. So when you watch this live stream, you're going to learn techniques on how you can decorate your cake just in time for Christmas. And these skills are not just for Christmas, they will also be useful for whenever that you want to decorate your cake. So I'll be decorating my Christmas cake today, and I'll also be decorating my some cupcakes for you to see. So I know that this is going to be great. If you're watching live, that's awesome. If you've got any questions, now is the time to ask me. Just put it in the chat section and I will check it in between the decorating and answer your questions. And even if you're not watching live, if you're watching a replay, you can still ask me any questions you like, any baking or cake decorating questions. You can ask it by just putting it in the comment section and I will respond. So let's get cake decorating. So I have my cake here already baked. This is a vanilla sponge cake. I've made this using the reverse baking method, which is very nice method, perfect if you are new to cake baking. And the middle layer is going to be a chocolate cake, and then this is the same vanilla cake. So we're going to be decorating that. So just for people who are beginners, because that's what my channel is all about, helping beginners like you decorate and make amazing cakes. So this is my setup for decorating. I have a turntable, which I would definitely recommend that you have a turntable because it makes decorating so much easier. And then this is just a bog standard non-slip mat that I place on top of the turntable so that when I am decorating my cake, it doesn't slip and slide around. And this is a cake board. This is a gold one, but you can have the silver one or different colored one. So we're going to be baking on top of that. I'm going to be using buttercream. So I'm using American buttercream, which is one of my favorite buttercreams, and which is a buttercream that I recommend for beginners because it's super easy to make. I've done a live stream quite recently on how to make American buttercream. So you should definitely check it out if you're not sure how to make American buttercream. Other things that you should get is you need a palette knife, which you're going to be using to decorate and cover your cake with buttercream. So you can see that this is an angled palette knife. And this is what you want to get. This is so much easier to use when compared to like a straight one. So get an angled palette knife. They come in different sizes. I've got the other size with me. This is a smaller angled palette knife. Let me take that out of the packet. Yeah, this is a smaller one. This is a bit pointed because it's more for decorating, but it's a little bit too small and it'll take forever to cover your cake. So get one that is big enough for what you need. And actually, there's some that are even bigger than this. If you're making really tall or wide cakes, then you want a bigger one. So that's what you need. And you also want a smoother to smooth your buttercream. Now, if you don't know all the stuff that you need, I've got videos that will help you on the essential tools that you need for making buttercream. So check up on my page, and I will, at the end of this live stream, put it in the description section. So enough talking, let's get decorating. So here is my buttercream that I pre-prepared. Now, my cake layers, the way that I bake them, they're kind of flat and not really domed. So you can see flat, flat. So I don't need to trim it. And that's because I bake at a lower temperature. If your cake has a dome, then that will get in the way of your structure construction when you stack your cakes. so you need to level it. And if you've got flat cakes like mine, what you want to do is the top of your cake, the original top, wants to go on the bottom, because the bottom is usually perfectly flat. Well, I say usually, although I did have a bit of an accident here, but not to worry, we will patch that up and cover it with buttercream, and you'll never even know that it was there. So first thing, you want to put some buttercream, like a smear of buttercream, just on your cake board. So this will act like a sort of glue, and stick it onto there. Yeah, always have either a paper towel or a kitchen towel to clean up mess as you go. So you just want to just place that on there and just firmly make sure it stays, so that when you are decorating, your cake is not skirting or flying around. And you want to make sure it's centered right from the beginning. That's something that I always struggle with, making it centered. Okay, and then next you're going to put buttercream. So you can see that my buttercream is actually quite thick, and that is deliberate. When you are putting buttercream on the top in the layers, you don't want it to be actually very thin, because thin buttercream, it makes it more likely to slide, and you don't want your cake layers to slide. The thinner one, you'll see when we start to decorate, it's much thinner. So this one is literally just, I made the buttercream, and then I just added just a dash of hot water. That's actually how I thin my buttercream. You can add a dash of milk or even cream to thin, just a little bit. So I deliberately want it to be thick, and then you spread it across there. And we're just going to put this dollop here just to start to seal up that crack there. Now, I don't like to use too much buttercream in my layers, but if you do, then that's kind of fine. And then the middle cake is chocolate. So again, now chocolate, the problem you most likely get with chocolate is either you have a huge dome or it's a little bit sunken like that. So not to worry, this bit, which is the top bit, if it's sunken, it's fine. You level it out. If it's domed, then you definitely want to level it out. So this goes at the bottom, and this bit, which is flat, goes on top like that. Okay, press it down a little bit, and then again, you can cover that little dip with buttercream. So buttercream, honestly, it covers nearly everything. So even if your cake is not perfect, don't worry. With buttercream, when you decorate your cake, you can cover just about any imperfections there. So I think I want to add a little bit more buttercream there. Okay. Yeah, I don't put too much. Some people put loads of buttercream, but personally, I like to have more cake than buttercream. So I just put a thin layer on there, and then stack in the last cake. Again, you want the flat bit to be on the top, and then just like that, squish it down a little bit. And then, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually swap round to the second batch of buttercream that I've made, which is this one. So I'm just going to wipe that clean. So you can see I've covered it with cling film. That's a mistake a lot of beginner bakers make. They make the buttercream and they leave it to sit. Buttercream, especially American buttercream, it's a crusty buttercream. It will crust when it gets in contact with air. So that means it sets and becomes a little bit hard. Now that's great once you've decorated your cake, but you don't want your buttercream to set before you put it on the cake, because then it makes it really difficult to decorate with crusted buttercream. So what you want to do is you want to cover it with cling film and that stops it from being exposed to the air. So with this one, it's a lot smoother in consistency. Let me get a spoon. So you can see, let me see, a lot smoother and creamier. And that's because I've thinned it a lot more. And I added about 1 tablespoon of boiling water to thin it. So you want it nice and soft and spreadable. So this is good for the outside layer. So if you are a beginner to baking, I always recommend that you start off doing a crumb coat. 1 second. Sorry, I'm looking for my smaller palette knife, which is a lot easier to use. So we're doing the same process, and you just spread in. So you can see immediately how much easier it is to spread that. So that's the consistency that you want to be going for. And then we're going to be covering on the side. So what I first like to do, because the gap between the cake layers, sometimes you can see that this cake layer has shrunk a little bit compared to here. That one is in line. We're just going to patch up those cracks with the buttercream. And this is called a crumb coat. So a crumb coat basically will lock in all the crumbs. Now, I've done a big no-no. I've actually been dipping straight from the same bowl, and then I've got a crumb here, which is what you don't want. So when you are doing your crumb coating, and in general, put it in a different bowl. That way, you don't contaminate your buttercream with crumbs. And sometimes if you have other colors, if you put that back, then you contaminate it. And it also means that you can cover the rest of the buttercream that you're not using so that it doesn't cross while you are decorating the buttercream. So we put the cling film back on. And then back to that. So I just want to paper those cracks, and at the same time just smoothing it on the cake like that. So you're not aiming to have a smooth, perfect finish. You just literally want to it's like your first canvas. So once you have sealed those cracks, then you just want to spread it and just slowly work your way around on there. So take your time when you're doing your crumb coat, because it will be the canvas for the rest of your decorating. And if you have a very good canvas, then it makes the rest of your cakes easier. So again, at this point, if you're finding that your cake is not straight or is wonky, now is the time to fix it. Because once your crumb coat has set, then you'll be hard to rectify that. So, okay, we do have some people. It would be lovely to know where you are watching from. So if you don't mind, I'd like to know, just put in the live chat to say, hi, Dr. Mommy Cakes. I'm watching from, I don't know, America, Nigeria, Tanzania, India, Pakistan, or Bangladesh, or wherever it is that you're watching from. Right. And don't forget, any questions, do pop it in the comment section. So now you can see, you can't see those cracks. So also pay attention to the bottom of the cake. So any gaps, just fill that with buttercream. Now, I don't always do a crumb coat. Sometimes I use ganache plates. which actually make it a lot easier. And sometimes I don't even do a crumb coat. But if you're certainly a beginner, then yes, I will do a crumb coat if I have layers. So sorry, cakes of different types of cakes for the layers, because they don't always bake the same way. One tends to shrink more than the other. Like especially if you're making chocolate cakes, either they will shrink a little bit, so they'll not be the same width as the rest of the cake. Okay, so now we've basically covered the entire surface, and then we're just going to be smoothing. So at this point, what you can do is then use your cake smoother. So that's another tool that you should have. Use your cake smoother to just smooth that. So with the cake smoother, you just want to sort of be slightly at an angle, and you just want to just keep it still and move your turntable instead. I've not done that quite well, but that is essentially the principle of what you're aiming for. Like that. So that's a good crumb coat. All we just need to do is the top. You just need to just level that up slightly. So clean excess buttercream off there, and you can just see. I will just show you like here. So you go like this, and then you just drag it in slightly. You see that? So just right at the edge and just drag it in. Right to the edge. Right to the edge. And just drag it in. Right at the edge and just drag it in. Right at the edge and just drag it in. But again, remember, is your crumb coat. So, and then you can just smooth this bit. Okay, so that's our crumb coat. Let's get some cling film and cover the rest of the buttercream that we're not using for now. So what we're going to do is put the cake in the fridge for about 10-15 minutes to set, and set our crumb coat, and then we're going to continue with the decorating. But for now, we can start on our cupcakes. I'll be 2 seconds. And I come bearing gifts. So yeah, I baked some cupcakes. Again, these are vanilla. Super soft and moist. Beautiful cake. So these are part of my cake recipe. This is my standard vanilla cake. So it's absolutely amazing. We're going to be decorating these. And it's Christmas, so we're going to be doing Christmas-themed colors. So let me get stuff ready. So we're going to be piping with buttercream. So that's a nice addition. And also, we're going to do some basic fondant toppers to go with our cakes, cupcakes. So I need more bowls. Actually, I'm going to decorate in here. So I'm going to do red, because red is quite seasonal for Christmas. going to take a bit of this and a bit of the more firmer buttercream. So red can be quite difficult color to make because you often will need either you'll be tempted to put in a lot of red food coloring until you get the red that you desire, but that's always a mistake because if you put in too much red food coloring, it will taste nasty and your buttercream will split. So the options are you can make it ahead and give it a couple of hours, like overnight, for it to develop, for the color to develop into your buttercream. You can heat it up a little bit and then whisk it up. That's called tempering, and heat will bring out the color. The other thing that you can use is to use very concentrated type of food coloring. So this is a sugar flare red extra, which you can buy from common places. I'll put a link in the description later on. So that will give you intense color. Chop that away. I do need a little bit more. I've actually nearly run out, so that's why it's not coming out easily. So with this one, I use a cocktail stick. That's it. So that's a generous amount of buttercream right there. Hello, welcome to my live Christmas decorating. So if you're just joining us, we started on the actual Christmas cake and done a crumb coat. Let me just wash my hands. I've got food coloring all over. So we started on the actual Christmas cake and done a crumb coat, which is in the fridge setting, and we're just starting on decorating our cupcakes. So we're making the buttercream for our cupcakes. So we've put some red food coloring, and then we've just got to mix it all together. So there are lots of different types of food coloring. Actually, one of my most popular videos is the one about food coloring, where I talk about all the different types of food colorings available. So you should check that out as well. What am I looking for? Yeah, just use that to clean it up. So with piping, you want it to be soft enough so that it's easy to pipe, because if you pipe with really stiff buttercream, especially if you are doing lots of piping, it will hurt your hands. And at the same time, you don't want it too loose and runny because it won't hold its shape. That was nearly a disaster. Okay. So that is red enough. It doesn't look absolutely red, but by tomorrow, the color will develop even more. and it will be in the right shade of red. So don't be tempted to add any more food coloring. If you really want the color to come out, what you can do is temper the buttercream. And if you look in the live that I did recently on making buttercream, I showed you how to temper your buttercream. And I'm going to be doing two-toned buttercream, so red and white. So the way that you do that, we need some cling film. So this is a way that you do two-toned buttercream. So what you do is you take a roll hopefully you can see. Let me angle the camera down a little bit more. I might take this out of the way. Yeah. So what you want to be doing is you basically want to be putting one roll of buttercream on one side, just like that. And then one row of buttercream on the other side, like that. And then you're going to roll it into a sausage, just like this. Okay. So now we're going to take and set up the piping tip. So I'm going to be using, because I want to make a rosette, so I'm going to be using a 2D, a Wilton 2D. You can either use a 2D or a 1M to make a rosette. And this is a piping bag. I have a scissors somewhere. One second, let me cover that red. Oh, thank you, Marvelous Beauty. Well, I really hope that you do end up making a Christmas cake. How lovely of you. So what you want to do is you want to snip the end and slide in your piping tip. It's a knack, so you don't want it to be too wide that the piping tips fall out, but at the same time, so you see like there, the edges are still sticking out, so I need to snip it just a fraction. If I snip it too much, then it becomes too loose. So it's always best to snip it much less than you think, like really much less than you think. And then, because then if it's not snipped enough, you can just snip a tiny bit more. So just a slither, and that should be perfect. So you want it to be clear. Oh, and look at that. I've just ripped it. So we start again. Yeah, so never mind. These things happen. So that's why I always I buy like a pack of piping tips so you have enough. But it's better to get things right at the start, because otherwise, as you pipe, then things go wrong and it's much harder to rectify. Nope, still needs a little bit more, and this is where I've got to be careful, just a little bit more so that it's not too much. And just going to jig that. Okay, so what you're now going to do is you're now going to put, so you've got one end, like you make a little sausage, and you just want to, actually, I'm going to use this end because the buttercream was all on there. So you just slot that into your piping bag. And then so you're ready to pipe, and then you squish it. So then you've got to prime it, because the first bit that comes out will not be two-toned. So you do that until you start to see the two-toned color coming through. Then you start to pipe. Okay, let's get the cupcakes. So with the rosette, what you want to do is you start in the middle and you lift it gently so that it falls. And then you go round all the way. Oh, it's harder than I thought. Right, I'm going to come towards you. And I'm going to really angle that down. Yeah, that's a lot better. So you can see you pipe there, squeeze, just lifting it up. Once you got to the end, stop squeezing and lift. So squeeze. That's better. So you see, I'm squeezing here and then just letting it go. Just letting it go. And there we go. And then we can put that into our pipe. I actually find that it's much easier piping inside of your cupcake bag case, because you don't have to then put it back in. So let's do one more. Hopefully it's a bit clearer. So squeeze, go in a circle, keep squeezing, lifting up a little bit. When you get there, stop. Okay, so lifting it off the cake, squeeze. Now go in a circular motion Let the icing drop onto the cupcake. Keep going. That's it. And there you have rosettes. Okay, so let's keep that aside and go back to our cake. It should be ready. I'm going to get a different plate. And let me just go and get our cake. So the crumb coat is all set. If you touch that, you see it's nice and firm. So then we can start the second part of our decorating, which is decorating and getting a nice smooth finish. And then we'll do some buttercream and other types of decorating. So, okay. We've used that for the red. Listen. So I'm just going to save it. I'm still not straight. 1 second. Let me straighten up. That's it. Oh, I need a drink. Cheers. Happy Christmas. So we're going to do the same process again, covering it with thick layer of buttercream, starting on the top. And then you're going to move to the side. Okay. So you start to see what I meant when I said that, you know, your crumb coat is like a canvas for your buttercream, for the rest of your cake. You can start to see that it's coming together nicely. So for this one, you want a generous amount of buttercream so that when you scrape it off, you get a smooth finish. You just want to scrape it off. So you can see, you remember at the start, I said that it's important to use a angled palette knife. This is why. Because if you're using a straight palette knife, you won't really be able to get that angle in properly. So for this bit, an angled palette knife is what you need. And then you want to spread it all over a nice thick layer. Again, pay attention to the bottom. You want to have a thick coating on the bottom as well. So all around, like literally, you should not be able to see your crumb coat at all. If you can see your crumb coat, you've not put enough buttercream on that section. So put more, put more. It's not going to go to waste because when you scrape it, the bits that have more than you need, you'll scrape it off, but you want to cover your cake with a generous layer of buttercream. Okay, so not the same, but multiple tools. So this is a buttercream scraper, a metal one. If you have a plastic one like this, that works well as well. So again, with the scraper, so what you want to be doing, you want to hold, if this is your cake, you want to hold it as an angle. Imagine this is this side of the cake. You want to hold it at an angle like this, and then you want to keep it still. So I'm holding it here, and then you just want to turn your turntable see that? So the movement is from your turntable. So see what I said, that you end up scraping a lot of buttercream off. So if you have excess, not to worry. And then now have a look at your cake. If there's any big patches where you need a lot more buttercream, patch that up now, and then we're going to go scraping again. When you're scraping, you want your scraper to be nice and clean, so you want to scrape to remove any residue of buttercream. So wipe your buttercream with paper towel, wipe your scraper to get off the residue. So again, we're going again. Let's adjust that. You want your smoother to stay still and your turntable to turn. And you want to try and go a huge big circle so you don't get like a ledge. So I kind of go like this, keep your turntables, and you don't want to put pressure on the whole cake. So you just want to smoothen it like that. Okay. So that is taking shape. And resist the urge to over smoothen. So here, I think I'm just going to patch just one more time, and then I will call it a day. So I can see that there is bubbles. That's because I did not smoothen my buttercream before using it. That's always useful, not the end of the world. But that's something to bear in mind. And if you want to know exactly what I mean, I have a video where I show you what to do to get really smooth buttercream before you start. I'm just going to wash my hands as well. I've got buttercream all over it. One last pass. Okay, I'm happy with this. It will come together once I use heat to give the final coat. And the top bit, so you can there's two options with the top. You can leave it to set and then you can just cut it off. But because I'm decorating for you, I want you to see the finished cake at the end of this decorating session. So I'm just going to do what I did with the first one and scrape it off. Let me come closer, just so that you can see. I'll do it from this angle so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So literally just coming at the edge and just smoothing it off like that. So that still gives me a sharp edge. Just right at the edge and just like that. Okay. Okay, so that's our finished cake. We're just going to put that back in the fridge while we decorate. So I'm going to decorate with, make some Christmas tree decorations to go on top of the cake, and then we'll do some piping at the bottom of the cake. Yeah. So for the Christmas cake, we need to make green color frosting. So actually, I want quite a dark green, but I don't have the exact shade of green that I want. So what I will do is I will use green, and then I will add a touch of black, and that will give me a dark green. So I'll do the green first, so I'll know how green it comes out, and then if I'm happy, yay. If not, and then I'll know how green it is, and just a touch of black, like a literal tiny touch of black. So that's leaf green. I want it to be more like a holly green. So we just put a tiny amount of black. This one's not open. Snip that. Just a small amount of black. And then mix that together. I think I want a little bit more. I want it to be a little bit more darker. So we'll just put a little bit more. So I always say, especially with food coloring, and actually anything that you're adding to your baking, like flavoring, is always better to add it bit by bit. So add a little bit first. If that's enough, then that's fine. If it isn't, it's much easier to add more to it. But if you add too much, then you can't really take it out. Okay, so that looks good. I just need a little bit more green, and I think we'll be there. So don't forget, if you come back later, I will put lots of links in the description section of very useful videos that will go through some of the techniques I've touched on in details. Okay, so I'm happy with that color. It's a nice green, if I may say so myself. And we're just going to prepare our piping bag. So you need a star tip. So I'm going to use a 4B. Is that a bit too big? Yeah, because you can use a smaller one. I did one recently, but that's just a lot of piping, so that was a bit too much. So I'll use a 4B. Oh, that's totally ripped, so we can't use that. And it's the same process with that. So snip. No, I think that might be too big. Let's use a smaller. Yeah, this is a 32. I think that will do. No, I'll stick to a 4. I'll stick to a 4B. Definitely not a 6B. A 4B will do. So, same process. Snip the ends with your piping bag. Okay, that will do. I need a glass, and I'll tell you why. This is a simple trick of how to put your buttercream in. Fold it over a glass, so that keeps it open, and then all you've got to do is plonk your buttercream in there and gently fold the edges up. And there you have it. The buttercream goes in. Little or no mess. And then what I do is just use the edge of a smoother or even just a table knife to push that through, and then that's ready to go. These are just like bag ties, so just put that on there. Okay, so having a turntable will be very useful, and what I'm going to be using as the scaffold for Christmas, the Christmas tree is, can you guess it? Cones, because they're the perfect, they look like Christmas trees, don't they? So you're just going to cover that in with piping. So let me actually come close so I can show you the technique. So you just basically, you pipe a big dot like that. And you see? I want to do that until it's all covered. Okay. and then you can decorate it with your. So this with this one, with this piping tip, it's a big one, so it makes a really shaggy tree. For a less shaggy tree, use a smaller one. So I'm not going to finish doing the whole thing because it's then difficult to lift it up. So I will wait until I put it on the cake before then finishing up. So let's put that away. And I think we can get our cake back now. No, actually, let's make some of our fondant decoration. Let me just clear some space. Sing this song. Ding dong, ding dong. One second. Right. Actually, no, I think we're just going to keep on doing with buttercream because I have a technical problems with fondant. So I might do a different fondant tutorial for you. So let's finish up with the cupcakes. I will show you how to pipe a parsonette okay, so with the rest of the red, you need to get we pivot. Things didn't quite work out with the fondant, so we're just going to finish up with buttercream decorating. So I'm going to show you how to pipe I need a leaf. Yeah, so this is a leaf. This is a 352. So 352. We're going to pop that in like that. Repeat the same process with the leaves. Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. I haven't actually got the right color of fondant. I've not got white, red, or green. I thought I had white, but the white I had, actually, I can't use that. It's actually flour paste, which I could use it, but it would be a waste of using flour paste just to do simple toppers because flour paste is specially designed for flowers. So yeah, so we're going to pipe a nice flower on our cupcakes. No, that's a disaster. That is too soft. So that's not going to work. Never mind. Yeah, we need to have the stiffer buttercream. Never mind. We'll pivot and we'll just do a small rosette here. And it'll still look nice. That's a shame. Not to worry. Oh, doesn't look so bad. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. So why don't we finish up our cake? So we put in the Christmas tree right at the center. And then now I can finish up. Okay. Now, let's so we're just going to do shells just on the edge of the cake like this. So shells in a circular. Let me. I'm going to squeeze every last drop of buttercream. And then we just need to have sprinkles to decorate. So sprinkles, sorry about that. So we just so I just need to get bigger, the big size sprinkles to decorate my cakes with. See. Okay, and that brings us to the end of this live. We've decorated a beautiful Christmas cake, easy steps that you can follow at home so you can learn how to make your own Christmas cake. And remember, if you make your own Christmas cake, I would love to see. You can tag me on social media. Just search for me, Dr. Mommy Cakes, on YouTube and Facebook. And we've also learned how to decorate beautiful cupcakes. It's been an amazing time. It's been fun. Thank you for watching this live. Thank you for the comment. It made my day. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful Christmas. Happy baking. Happy cake decorating. See you next time.